this episode, we'll meet an elephant who has the power to change reality. Not in a magical way, but in how it interprets and reacts to experiences. Sometimes this power helps us, but other times it distorts the way we see ourselves, others, and the world around us. This episode will take a closer look at how our brain plays a role in these changes and how therapy can help us work on those patterns. Hi and welcome back to Let's Talk About the Elephant. I'm your host, Mażda, and today we are diving into another exciting chapter of our story with the elephant. A metaphor for how our brain and body navigate experiences, emotions, and beliefs. But before we dive into today's journey, let's recap what we covered last time. In the last episode, we met the hungry elephant, who is always on high alert, scanning the environment for danger. This state of constant readiness, while useful in truly dangerous situations, can lead to exhaustion and anxiety when it becomes our everyday state of being. We talked about how trauma can lead to hypervigilance, flashbacks, and nightmares. For those of you who love the science behind it and asked me about that, this state is closely linked to the brain's limbic system. This system includes several key players. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure, acts as our alarm system. Imagine you are walking in the jungle and suddenly you see a tiger. The amygdala starts beeping like fire alarm, signaling a potential threat. It immediately sends a message to the cortex, the thinking and reasoning part of your brain, telling it to take a back seat. There's no time to think, survival first. The amygdala then sends signals to the reptilian brain, also known as the brainstem. I like to call it the reptilian brain because it's one of the oldest parts of our brain, responsible for automatic survival behaviors. This part of the brain is in charge of making the immediate decision: fight, flight, or freeze. For example, fight. You might grab a stick and prepare to defend yourself. Flight. You run as fast as you can to get away from the tiger. Freeze. You stay completely still, hoping the tiger doesn't see you. Meanwhile, the hippocampus, another part of the limbic system, plays the role of memory keeper. It processes the experience and helps you determine if the tiger is a real danger or just a memory of a similar situation. The hippocampus is responsible for distinguishing between past and present. However, after trauma, it can struggle to do this, which is why old memories sometimes feel like they are happening right now. In essence, when the amygdala takes over and brain goes into survival mode, the cerebral cortex, the part that normally helps you analyze and reason, gets temporarily switched off so that you can react quickly. This is great when there is an actual tiger in the jungle. But when you are in a safe place, like crossing the street or sitting in your living room, this survival response can be overwhelming and unnecessary. Now, as promised, we'll meet our reality-changing elephant. Imagine this. The elephant starts walking through the jungle again. But now, something has changed. Every shadow looks like a predator. Every rustling leaf feels like a warning. The accident has left a mark on how the elephant sees the world. Instead of seeing reality for what it is, the elephant begins interpreting everything as a potential threat. This is where cognitive beliefs and perception come into play. Sometimes our minds create stories based on past experiences. These stories can be helpful, like reminding us not to touch a hot stove. But they can also limit us or cause unnecessary fear. These beliefs may feel protective, but over time, they can limit us and make it harder to live fully. In psychology, we call these beliefs cognitive distortion. They are like filters that change how we see reality. Some common ones include catastrophizing, always expecting the worst-case scenario. If I cross the street, something terrible will definitely happen. Black and white thinking, seeing everything as all good or all bad. Either the world is 100% safe or it's completely dangerous. Mind reading, believing we know what others are thinking. That person must think I'm weak because I'm afraid to drive again. Let's bring back the accident at the intersection from the last episode. Imagine this. After the accident, you were taken to the hospital for a checkup. Thankfully, there were no serious injuries, but you were sent home with a sick leave for a few days to rest and recover. At first, you felt relieved to be safe at home. But then, like we described last time, things started to change. You began experiencing anxiety, hypervigilance, and flashbacks. This is when you met the hungry elephant. Suddenly, every sound of a car passing by made your heart race. Walking near an intersection brought back vivid images of the accident. You found yourself constantly scanning for danger, expecting something bad to happen again. Your body stayed in a state of alert, trying to protect you from another potential threat. But then you met the cousin of the hungry elephant, the reality-changing elephant. Day by day, this elephant is following you, like a shadow, and began to change the way you see yourself, others, and the world around you. It started with small thoughts whispering into your ear. Is it me? Is it my bad luck? Why does this always happen to me? Then the thoughts grew. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's them, other people, drivers. They are careless and dangerous. You began to believe that intersections and big roads are inherently dangerous. Then you noticed more news about hit-and-run accidents and reckless driving, which only reinforced your new belief that all drivers are bad and cannot be trusted. At first, you simply avoided the intersection where the accident happened, but soon you stopped using bigger roads altogether. After a while, you avoided cars entirely, even though you know deep down that your friend who used to pick you up on the way to work has always been careful and respectful driver. Still, the thought remains, but what about others? What if another driver isn't as cautious? So you took public transportation instead. It made your commute to work twice as long, but at least you felt somewhat safer. However, with time, your world kept shrinking. You started losing trust in people, not just drivers. The safest option seemed to be staying home. You called in sick more often or requested to work from home. Eventually, you stopped going out with friends or visiting the cinema. Home became the only place where you felt truly safe. You relied on food delivery, home office, and Netflix to fill your days. The world outside felt unpredictable, and limiting your life felt like the only way to protect yourself. This is how the reality-changing elephant works. It's not trying to hurt you. It just wants to protect you. But in doing so, It often convinces you to build walls that are harder and harder to break down. Let's take a moment to explore science behind this. Our brains are wired to look for patterns and make predictions based on our past experiences. This ability has helped humans survive for thousands of years. But when we've been through something traumatic, our brain's pattern recognition system can go haywire. Instead of seeing reality clearly, we start seeing danger where there isn't any. This is why some of us might find it hard to trust people, feel safe, or believe that good things can happen, while our reality-changing elephant is just trying to protect us. But sometimes it needs help seeing things clearly again. These beliefs can affect every area of our lives. For example, beliefs about ourselves. I'm not good enough. It's always my fault. I always fail. I cannot handle stress. Beliefs about others. People can't be trusted. Everyone will let me down. People are only nice if they want something. Beliefs about the world. The world is unfair. Life is a struggle. Safety doesn't exist anywhere. These beliefs don't appear out of nowhere. They are often formed in response to painful or traumatic experiences. Once they are there, they influence how we think, feel, and behave, often reinforcing themselves over time. So, here is a question. What can we do? The good news is that we can change these beliefs. It's not easy, but it is possible through awareness, practice, and with help of a therapist. A trauma-focused therapy. Therapy can help us identify and challenge these beliefs. Techniques like cognitive processing therapy or EMDR are especially effective for trauma. Grounding exercises. Grounding exercises can help you reconnect with the present moment. This can be as simple as focusing on your breath, naming 5 things you can see around you, or feeling your feet on the ground. Challenging cognitive distortions. Once you notice a negative thought, ask yourself, is this thought based on facts, or is it my fear talking? Could there be another explanation? What would I tell a friend in this situation? Journaling and self-reflection. Writing down your thoughts and beliefs can help you spot patterns and begin to challenge them. It's a journey, not a quick fix, but learning to shift your perspective can make a huge difference. Thank you for joining me today on the Let's Talk About the Elephant. I hope you found this deep dive into cognitive beliefs and reality-shifting elephant helpful. Remember, just like our metaphorical elephant, we all have the power to reshape how we see the world, one step at a time. We'd love to hear from you. What would you like us to explore in the future episodes? Do you have your own experiences or questions you'd like us to answer? Let us know in the comments. And a small spoiler. In the next episode, we'll explore how the elephant starts to rebuild trust in the jungle and learn how to embrace uncertainty without fear. Until then, take care of yourself and others. And remember, you are stronger than you think.